And tonight, I want you to picture this. President Joe Biden basking in the warm 80-degree Caribbean air, listening to the sounds of waves crashing on the shore from a luxury villa in the Virgin Islands, compliments of a wealthy donor. At the very same time, a winter nightmare is unfolding in Buffalo, New York. After days of blistering cold weather and nearly 52 inches of snow, dozens are now dead, thousands are without power. New York's governor referred to driving conditions as a war zone. Police and National Guard are going door to door, plowing their way through the snow to perform welfare checks. And the death toll in western New York is expected to rise. Meanwhile, thousands of flights have been canceled or delayed, especially on Southwest Airlines, which has stranded Americans and their luggage all over the country in what is being described as a colossal failure at every level. Here now with a full report, Fox Weather's Katie Byrne. Katie.
Some Southwest flyers never made it home for the holidays. Many of them are still stranded tonight. And for those who gave up on flying altogether and decided to drive home instead, now they're showing up to airports like this looking for their luggage and being told they won't be seeing it until Friday.
I got a car the next day. I don't know how. I happened to get it from Enterprise, and we've drove for 2 days now. Now I get to the airport, no bags.
At least 2,500 Southwest flights across the country have been canceled so far Wednesday. It's a slight improvement from Tuesday, but not by much. And travelers are growing impatient.
Oh, it's very tiring and stressful and all that. Too much delays, cancellation every now and then. I have to sleep at the airport.
The situation is not expected to get better until later this week, with Southwest only operating about a third of its routes through Friday so that their crews can catch up. Of course, this all started with a winter storm that hit right before Christmas, but some say the airline is also using outdated software that's creating staffing issues, leaving passengers stranded and with missing luggage.
I spent over $1,000 coming back between the rental car, hotels, meals.
Now the feds are looking into this, and lawmakers on Capitol Hill are saying investigations will be coming in the new year. Jason?
Katie, thank you. As you might expect, President Biden is blissfully unaware. Today he called the lid at 10:06 a.m., presumably so he could bask in the Caribbean sun. The president is on vacation after all. Keep in mind, this comes after a recent beach vacation to the luxurious Kiowa Island in South Carolina, and then another relaxing vacation in Nantucket, along with around 60 mini vacations to Delaware this year alone. So with Joe taking off so much time to recharge, just who is actually running the show? Well, it's certainly not Biden's transportation secretary, Mayor Pete. It took Pete 4 whole days to respond to the ongoing travel crisis, caused primarily by Southwest Airlines. Now, one prominent Democrat, Nina Turner, is voicing concern. Quote, "What's happening with railroads, airlines, and the supply chain is a result of small city mayor being made the Secretary of Transportation as a means to pad his resume for president. Secretary Buttigieg is a prime example of following up." Joining us now with more are 2 Republican members of the House Transportation Committee, South Carolina Congresswoman Nancy Mace, who was directly impacted by the travel chaos, along with Texas Congresswoman Beth Van Duyne. Thank you both for joining us tonight on Hannity. I want to start with you, Congressman Mace. You had some personal experiences. Tell us about that, but more importantly, how is this going to affect Americans, and how are you going to help solve it from a congressional viewpoint?
Well, not only that am I on the Transportation Committee in Congress, specifically the Aviation Subcommittee, but this hit close to home because my teenage kids got stranded in Baltimore trying to make it home on Christmas Eve. And even today, 5 days later, we still don't know where their luggage is right now. And so we've been personally impacted by this. In fact, the young lady who's operating the camera I'm sitting in front of right now was stranded in Denver, Colorado for 5 days. Luckily, she made it home but didn't get to see her son for Christmas. and still doesn't know where her luggage is. This has impacted thousands upon thousands of people, and I was disheartened and disappointed to hear the president basking in the Caribbean during this crisis could not be any more tone deaf right now, because this has affected tens of thousands of people that can't get on trains, can't rent cars, can't recoup their flights to get home, and they're stranded all across the country right now. I want to hear Pete Buttigieg say he's going to audit and figure out where the $7 billion went that Southwest received from American taxpayers. That's what I want to hear tonight.
Yeah, Congresswoman Van Dyne, that's the issue, right? I mean, Congress passed, I presumably you voted against it. I don't know, maybe you voted for it, but $1.2 trillion in infrastructure. Mayor Pete, they're handing out a lot of money, but he says he's going to hold them accountable, but where is he? It took him 4 days to respond to this and start making comments.
Well, I mean, it's not just Biden who goes on vacation when he's most needed. You look at Buttigieg, from the beginning, this guy was not qualified to take this job. He's a cabinet secretary, and in his first year in the office, when we're having tremendous supply chain issues, when people can't get the supplies that they need, when businesses are going bankrupt, where is he? He takes 2 months off for paternity leave. Earlier this year, we had our rail, the rail strike potential looming over us. We were going to have, again, I mean, a massive amount of hit to our economy. You were going to have municipalities that couldn't get chemicals to be able to treat their water supply. And where was Pete? Oh, that's right. He was on a family vacay in Portugal. He could not be bothered not to go on vacation, to postpone that for the American people. This is a man who was not qualified for the job, has never really been on the job. And we've trusted him with $1.2 trillion worth of taxpayer dollars. And you're seeing how he has just completely fallen on his face time and time again.
Yeah, I like that comment that, this is somebody in his career that's fallen up. He had a failed presidential run. I don't see anything that, there's a reason why they call him Pothole Pete. I mean, what in his resume would lead you to believe that he could solve the major problems that we're having with rail and transportation and the airlines and whatnot? But you're going to get a chance to grill him a little bit and hold him accountable when Republicans take control. What do you hope to do, Congresswoman Mace, when he does come before the committee at some point?
Well, we'll have lots of questions. I know on the Oversight Committee, I'll have a gavel be one of 5 subcommittee chairmen over there. But on the Transportation Committee, he's going to have a lot to answer for when he comes to Congress. What is he doing with the taxpayer dollars that have been received? How are they being distributed? How is he going to hold Southwest accountable? And what you're seeing today is the federal government rewarding bad behavior by having private companies be bailed out and subsidized by the American taxpayer. So what is Pete Buttigieg going to do about it besides hold a press conference? But this is one thing that I want to make clear. Nina Turner and Beth Van Dyne are both absolutely correct on Pete Buttigieg. But this is what happens. You had Democrats and the left spend millions of dollars against people like me in swing districts who want to hold the administration accountable, who want to hold agencies accountable so that Republicans can't hold them accountable. It's really important to support candidates like myself and Beth Van Dyne. And I hope that your viewers tonight will go to nancymace.org and support us so that we can hold the administration accountable when we're in the majority.
Well, you've got your workload ahead of you, because there certainly is no excuse for the amount of money that this administration has been given. But how they spend it, what they've done, and how they've done it, go get them, because just next week you'll actually have the gavels in hand. Thank you both for joining us tonight on Hannity. Congresswoman Nancy Mace and Congresswoman Beth Van Dyne, thank you. Appreciate it.